Welcome, CEO and President, UK and Ireland Salesforce, Zara Baralaloumi, CBE.
Hello, London! Good morning! Good morning. A very warm welcome to you. And I'm so excited to be here with you today and to talk about the Agentic Enterprise. We, I think, are at a very pivotal moment. Every company, every industry. And AI is transforming our personal lives, is it not? It is. And how do we harness that power and bring it into our businesses? Well, today, you're going to get the answer. But what do I need to do first, folks? Thank you. I want to thank everybody. I want to thank every customer, every partner, every employee, every community member for participating with us on our journey together, because your contribution reminds us that values create value, and you help us work with greater purpose and intention. And speaking of values, they remain at the very heart of our business today. 27 years ago, when we created this company, we wanted to create a great company, sure, but we also wanted to stand for something. Trust, customer success, innovation, equality, sustainability. These are not aspirational. They are operational. They're in our code. They're in our contracts. They're in our decisions when things get tough or tricky, and they guide us in everything we do to this very day. And when we created Salesforce, we didn't want to create just another great software company. We wanted to prove that business could be a force for good in the world. So we created or invented the 1-1-1 model, where 1% of our equity, 1% of our product, and 1% of our precious employees' time was pledged to giving back. And the impact is so real. It's real because globally, we have contributed nearly $1 billion in philanthropic giving. And our employees have volunteered a whopping 10 million hours of their time. And closer to home, here in the UK and Ireland, we've given $41.4 million in grants. And our UK and Ireland employees, I'm so proud of them, they have contributed 952,000 hours of their time. And we are wholeheartedly behind the government's mission to train 10 million people in AI by 2030. And that's through our Future Trailblazers initiative. And I've asked every single employee in the UK and Ireland to volunteer and to get out to schools and teach young school children, actually of all ages, in AI literacy and in AI safety. And that's not all, because we are putting all of our resources, so much of it, into our UK ambition, which is incredibly bold. We've pledged $6 billion into the UK through 2030. And to build on that commitment, we have got our newly opened AI Centre, and it forms a fabulous connected campus with our Salesforce Tower right here in London. And honestly, it's going to be a fabulous place for businesses, for communities, for future talent to come in and experience AI firsthand and to build the skills and the confidence to lead it. We want it to be a catalyst for UK innovation. I want to show what's possible when we bring humans and agents together to solve some of our most complex challenges. Because guess what? Agentic AI, it doesn't just benefit commercial businesses, no. It can also elevate citizen services from policing through to transport, health, and welfare. Our efforts show that when we do good in the world, we can actually do really well. And you can see it here in our numbers. We're on track to deliver $63 billion by 2030. And we're so proud to be listed by Fortune as one of the world's most innovative companies and by Ethisphere as one of the most ethical companies. But I want to be really clear with all of you today, because we didn't get here alone. We got here with all of you. Every app you built on our platform, every customer that you helped succeed, every contribution you gave to our community, that's reflected right here in the numbers. I'm so proud, and that's why I always want to thank you. Now, for 27 years, we have been guided by a simple and single mission, and that's to help organizations connect with their customers in a whole new way. And our efforts and activity here in the UK, that's a reflection of Salesforce's history of innovation spanning, my goodness, 3 decades. In 1999, we brought software to the cloud, and we fundamentally transformed the economics of enterprise technology. And in 2009, we brought you into the social era. And in 2016, we pioneered AI and CRM with Einstein. And that innovation continues to accelerate, because even in the last 2 weeks, we've made 2 incredible acquisitions. One is Contentful, and the other one is Fin. So with Contentful, that provides us with our headless content services that expands our marketing cloud capability. And with Fin, we now can enjoy ready-to-go, out-of-the-box agents that are currently experienced and enjoyed by 30,000 customers around the globe. And that's incredible because it complements our platform, our Agentforce platform, so beautifully. With Agentforce, you have deeply customizable agentic AI, and then with Fin, you've got ready-to-deploy agents for service teams that can deliver value super quickly. And now, we're redefining CRM once again with our Customer 360, and it's making your organizations truly customer-centric, because Customer 360 connects every single app across sales, service, marketing, commerce, seamlessly orchestrating across functions and teams right within the flow of work. That's so powerful. You can't underestimate that. And that's breaking down all the silos across all 4 corners of your organizations, empowering your employees to deliver connected and personalized experience. And the best bit about this is it is powered by actionable, real-time data from Data 360 and trusted AI from Agentforce. And so this transformational work with AI, it is ushering in a whole new chapter, because agentic AI is everywhere. It is impacting every experience, every industry, every company. And it is not just about efficiency, it is about growth. Fundamentally, it's about both. And it is completely changing how how apps are built and deployed and how they're used. But it is fundamentally changing what is possible when we reimagine enterprises. And here to tell us more, I have an incredibly special guest, but I'll only bring him on if you give him a rousing London welcome, because he's come all the way over from the US. So please give a huge World Tour London round of applause to Joe Inzarello.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. So, good morning, London. I love this city. It's one of my favorite cities. My sister actually lives here. She's in attendance here today. And I don't think that she's heard me speak in public since we were in 8th grade. So hopefully this goes well, or I'm going to hear from my mom about it. So I'm not here to talk about my family. I'm here to talk about how you become an agentic enterprise. And I think the way that I would like to start is telling you a little bit about how we have become an agentic enterprise. And I have a very unique position at Salesforce in that I manage some of our product portfolio, for example, Slack, but I also run the office of the CIO. So I'm both the user of technology and the vendor of technology. So sometimes I get in conversations with myself, but most of the time it works out. But Salesforce, we use this as a customer zero, we call it. And this is where we can actually figure out how to prepare the technology so that it's effective for you by making it effective for us first. And so we are well on our way to becoming an agentic enterprise. You can see some impressive stats up there, but it also could be a little bit of intimidating. Like, look at us, we've done it, it's awesome. Easy, sure. It's not easy. We know it's not easy. We know it's hard. So I want to tell you a little bit of how we got started and what we used and what you can use to do the same thing. So we thought that the best place to get started is customer support. So customers, many of you who have customers have some form of support. They call in, something's not working, their order's wrong, you need to ship something else. And customer support's a great use case because typically you wind up with trained people, sales associates, customer support associates that have scripts, they have data, they have all sorts of stuff. And that's exactly the type of thing that agents want in order to do their jobs. So you have labor in one side, you can turn it into digital labor. So we started with our support system. And where we pulled the sort of pin in getting this thing started was with our help.salesforce.com. So many of you may have gone there. If you have, and you've been with us for a while, you've seen it undergo some pretty radical transformation. A couple of years ago, 18 months ago, before Agentforce, it really was just a website and like an FAQ that you could go and kind of browse questions, and most people just wound up opening a ticket because that was the thing to do. But now it's interactive. Now it has Agentforce behind it. And many of those problems can be actually addressed with the agent. So now you can have an interactive conversation. That agent knows who you are, it knows what you have, it can help you diagnose things, and in many cases it can fix them. And what that's done is allowed our human support folks to spend more time with customers solving problems, while the agent can take on a lot of that heavy lifting. But we just didn't stop with the website, because a lot of you want to call on the phone. So right now, if you go to 1-800-NO-SOFTWARE in the US, you are actually talking to Agentforce Voice. And Agentforce Voice is using that exact same information that we did with help.salesforce.com to actually be able to answer the questions that you have using voice in real time. And it's been spectacular. We have seen just such huge pickup in both help.salesforce and Agentforce Voice. So we got started there. And we think everybody should wind up becoming an Agentic Enterprise. And we think that these are some use cases that are a great thing to get started with. So we talked a little bit about the customer agents, support, employee agents, thinking about single sources of truth. How do we think about agentic development? These are all things that need to happen for companies in some order. Most companies are going to wind up doing at least 3 or 4 of them. But this is the thing that is really, really interesting. 94% of people who've gotten on the journey are not seeing the ROI for an AI. They've invested, they spent the time, they've spent the money, but they're not seeing the ROI. Why? Is it because the data might be fragmented? They don't have it all in one place? The agent gets confused? Is it that the agent itself is disconnected from the rest of the workflows? So maybe it understands the knowledge, but doesn't have the ability to take any action? Is it that the agent doesn't know how to call a human for help when it gets confused, and so it stumbles to try to solve the problem? Maybe it's your organization. You're worried about security gaps and permissions and all of these very important things. Or maybe the agent just doesn't have agency. It cannot take action. And this is a pretty typical situation that people find themselves in, which is one of the reasons that we think about decomposing this problem into 5 systems. And we'll talk about these. But there is the system of context, giving the knowledge the agent needs. The system of work. How does the agent actually accomplish things? The agent itself, that system of agency. Then there's the system of engagement. What surface are they doing this on? What application are they doing this on? And all that's great, but it wouldn't actually do much if you didn't have insight into what it was doing. These agents require training. They are digital labor. So you can't just set them up and forget about it. You need to know what they're doing, how they're doing it, and we can do that with the system of insight. So the system of context, we have something called Data 360. And Data 360 is the way that we can pull all of your data together, whether it sits in Snowflake or Databricks or other locations, or in Salesforce, and give the agent the knowledge it needs, the grounding that it needs to start to solve these problems for customers. And it is an incredibly important first step. But y'all have Salesforce applications. It's not just about the data. It's about the knowledge and the process that you've encoded into Salesforce over these 27 years. And that is the system of work. And we can leverage that too. The agents can leverage that too. So that investment actually allows you to just let the agent know how you want it to work based upon the way that you're already working with the humans. But the agent itself, when we think about the system of agency, there are multiple different ways of doing agents. And these surfaces and agents within them are critically important to figure out which is the right one to solve the task that you have. I love this one personally because, as I mentioned, I look after Slack. But Slack is really our system of engagement. But we have several systems of engagement. But humans need an interface so that humans and agents can work together. The system of engagement is one of those. And a great example of this is Slackbot inside of Slack. So Slackbot is the agent, the surface is Slack, and that system of engagement is just critically important. And then from a system of insight, many of you are Tableau users. And Tableau is a great tool to do dashboarding and see insights from there. But it's not just about a dashboard. It is about the semantic layer. It's about that knowledge about your data so that you can ask questions with it agentically. How do you have insight by talking to an agent to give you insight? But the other thing I would say is no company, no matter how big, can serve all of our customers' needs. And I think a big measure of companies and their success is how vast their ecosystem is. And we have one of the biggest ecosystems on the planet. If you look at the folks that are there, these are people that are in our agent exchange today. There's probably, most of you are using at least one of those, I would think. And if you are, those can interoperate with Salesforce and the ecosystem that I've just outlined for you using the agent exchange. And so when you put this all together, when you layer it all up, this is the picture that you get, where you have that system of context, that data 360, the system of work in our customer 360. You have the system of agency and Agentforce and Slackbot. You have the system of engagement with Slack and other services, and then that system of insight with Tableau. But the keen observer, folks that have seen a drawing that looks like this before, will also see that there's something new. There's something called Headless 360. And what is Headless 360? Something we got announced. You heard about it in the video just a little bit. We teased it. But Headless 360 is a system that allows any agent, any surface, and any builder to create the types of experiences we just talked about. And it's incredibly powerful. If you think about it, Salesforce, for 27 years, has built technology and products to uplift humans, to enable humans. Salesforce Headless 360 is how we actually do the same thing for agents. How do we enable agents as well to work with the humans? And this, I think, changes the game. And the first part of this is, how do you actually think about a world where there's many agents? So we have a couple of agents. Agentforce is a platform, and we have agents that you can use in that platform, one of which is Coworker. So Coworker is relatively new, but now in the Salesforce Lightning interface, Coworker is where you can go and ask questions of your data. You can get things done. You can talk to it as a digital assistant inside of your existing Salesforce implementations. Slackbot is amazing. For anybody who knows, they know. Because Slackbot is fully aware of everything that's in Slack, all the conversations you have access to, all the things that you've asked it in the past, but it's also aware of the entire Salesforce platform because of Headless 360. And that's what makes it super powerful. But you don't have to use our agents either. You could use any agents you want. You could build other agents, and we're going to show you a little bit of that in a bit. If you like Claude, great. Claude will work. And Claude can leverage Headless 360. But the agent is the one part of it. I think the other part of it is the surface. And this is not just a surface for agents, by the way, where agents can provide these surfaces. It's Salesforce going on the road. And then you can now have your Salesforce information surfaced in anything. And so right here in the little screen grab, you see that we are bringing a Salesforce record directly into Claude. based upon Headless 360. Just think of the power of wherever you want it, you can now have Salesforce. And I think, for me, I'm a builder, I'm a tech nerd, so this is the part that I like the best, which is, what do you use to build today? What tools are you really enjoying? And for a lot of people, those are these coding tools, these coding agents. So if you're a Claude person or a Codex person, now with Headless 360, you can actually use that tool natively to build Salesforce experiences and to build Salesforce agents. So Salesforce is completely out of the box. We can allow you to work the way you want to work with the tools and the surfaces and the agents that you want to work with. So I'd love to give you a story about this. And I'm going to start with, probably the thing that I think if I said innovation, the first word that comes to most people's mind is legal, right? Like the legal department? There we go. He's our general counsel, by the way. No lie. So he's going to love this use case because we worked on it together. And so we have these rapid innovation squads, we call them. And it's a small group of business folks and technologists that get together and build things. So because we're a big company, we have a fairly large legal department. And that legal department gets a bunch of asks. And so like most companies, you sort of route them through a funnel. There's a bunch of lawyers, and they have to be lawyers, because these are very nuanced requests that look at the request coming in, figure out who to match it with, and then route it along its way. But, lawyers are expensive, and it takes time, and we are a big company. So the average path through there is not necessarily the fastest thing, just based upon the scale. So with collaboration, using Agentforce, using Headless 360, in 5 weeks, we built a system where we trained the agent to do the routing. We gave it all of that legal insight and nuance, and we allowed it to do the routing. And at this point, this will give us 12,000 hours back for those lawyers to go lawyer. Amazing, amazing things. And it's only possible because we used build tools outside of Salesforce like Claude Code. We leveraged those. We leveraged Headless 360 as the most important part of it, and we collaborated in a different way so that we could move quickly. So that's one use case. Rather than tell you about the next one, I thought I would actually bring the practitioner to the forefront here. And I'm going to bring up Ansar. And the thing that's interesting about Ansar is he's going to sound a little bit like a technologist, but he's actually in our commercial group. And most of the things that he's going to demonstrate for you are things that previously he would have had to come to my team to say, can you build this for me? Can you get this to work? But instead, he's able to fish for himself. So with that, Ansar.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you. So, good morning, London. So, for 25 years, getting value out of Salesforce meant logging in, clicking through screens, and navigating a UI. Okay. But AI agents don't use browsers. They call APIs, they invoke tools, and they run commands. And Joe said, we now expose our data, our workflow, our business logic, and our trust rules directly to whoever or whatever needs it. And that's called Headless 360. So in the next few minutes, you're going to see us connect Salesforce with Claude with just a few clicks and ask some real questions about our sales pipeline. And then we're going to do the exact same thing with ChatGPT. Now, this is the first time we've ever run this demo. So London, you're getting a sneak preview of some brand new tech here. Okay. So we're going to start off in Claude. Okay. And like many of you, I use Claude throughout my day. I use it to craft messaging, carry out research about my customers and my accounts. And Claude, it's powerful and it's capable, but it knows nothing about our CRM. Our CRM lives inside of Salesforce. So if I was to go into Claude and enter in a prompt like this and ask it, what are my top opportunities for Q2, Claude will hit a wall. Okay, and it will come back and it say it doesn't have access to our pipeline or our CRM data. But here's the thing, Claude doesn't stop. Okay? It recognizes that I've already been authenticated, so it offers to surface up the new Salesforce Headless 360 connector right here in my flow of work, so you can reason over my data and query my accounts and opportunities. So I simply hit connect, and I approve and authorize that connection. And now it applies that same connector and automatically relaunches that current request with my prompts. Now it's pulling out my live Q2 opportunities. Okay? It has context and it's reading live from Salesforce. So these are my top Q2 opportunities. And just note, I have Atlas Manufacturing at the top, and it's a must-win deal for my quarter. Okay. So what's really important here, not just the fact that it's reasoning and reading directly from Salesforce, okay, but it's using the same clearance and security that I have with Salesforce as well. So the same sharing model that keeps an intern from seeing board-level data is enforced right here in Claude. And nobody had to rebuild a 25-year security model to get here. So the AI didn't change, the context did. So let me run another prompt. I want to know how we're trending against our pipeline targets. Let me hit that as well. Okay. And there it is, my live 2Q pipeline visualized with the aid of the Tableau MCP server. Now that's pulling that out directly from Tableau. And I didn't have to tab out to a dashboard or build a report, just a question and answer grounded in my actual data. Now, I mentioned Atlas Manufacturing a few moments ago as a must-win deal. So I've just heard that deal's now been closed and won. So let me put that into Claude. Okay. Now, this is very cool, because what it's doing, it's reading the current value from Salesforce, and it's also putting the new value. And it's asking me, do I really want to update that? Let me confirm that. And here's the thing. It's not updating Claude, it's updating Salesforce. Okay? So Salesforce has always been the system of record for your people, but now it's also the system of record for your agents. Okay? Now, what makes Headless 360 so powerful is that any external tool, agent, or developer can securely connect and update Salesforce from directly within Claude. Okay? But as impressive as it is seeing Claude reason over my data, the answer is only as good as the foundation. And that's all about your data, your metadata, your business logic, and your governance. And that's Salesforce, and it isn't tied to any one app. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to head over to ChatGPT now, and let's see what that experience looks like directly within there. Okay. So first of all, let's take a look at that same account record, Atlas Manufacturing, that we just updated in Claude. Now, it's brought back the record, and we can see the status is close won. But what I really wanted to do is run that same prompt. I want to see how my opportunities are looking, but this time in ChatGPT. So let's run that. And now it's pulled out those records as well. Okay. Now remember, this is the same connection that we had in Claude. It's the same governance. It's the same data. But whereas in Claude, Salesforce and Headless 360 brought that out as written text, here it's displaying my records as rich interactive cards that I can scan and act on as well. So question and answer grounded in my data, but rendered in a completely different way. And that's all completely managed by the Salesforce Headless Experience layer. And that's how Salesforce controls how it shows up inside any agent. Is it an interactive component, or is it written text? And this is how you actually render this across all of the different applications that your team uses. And you decide how they're actually going to see that displayed back to them. So this is the power of Headless 360. Okay? This is how we bring your entire Salesforce org directly into Claude or ChatGPT. And by bringing enterprise context into your flow of work and combining that with public data, you start getting insights that you weren't even aware of, trends and patterns in the data, and answers to questions that you didn't even know you needed answering. For example, I use it to provide account summaries for my teams and coaching tips for them when working on those accounts. And that is the power of Salesforce, Headless 360, plus Claude and ChatGPT, but it's all been powered by the Headless 360 experience. Thank you, and back to you, Joe.
Great, thank you. Brilliant job. So what you saw there was a business user logging into Claude and using Salesforce. Seems really impossible that happened as fast as it did, but it did. And the power that sits behind it, again, is because of the Salesforce platform. Headless 360 is just that additional thing that we put on top to allow it to connect to all the various assets that it needs to connect in the Salesforce ecosystem. Those assets that you've invested in, they're not new assets. You use Headless 360 with your existing Salesforce implementations to get those kinds of results. And so that's a lot about us. But let's talk and shift over again and talk more about customers, because it's all about you. It's all about you, the customer, and your success. It's right in the values that Zara went over earlier. And if you look at somebody like Pandora, the jeweler, the European-based jeweler, in 60% of the cases, they could automatically deflect, i.e. answer the problem for their customers automatically. And they went from naught to this in production in 5 weeks using the technology that we're showing you. I love Finnair. If you ever travel to Finland, it's an amazing airline. They now resolve 80% of the queries, and they've doubled the customer satisfaction. So it's not just that they're solving it better. It's the fact that they're solving it better and providing better customer service than they were before the agents. And this is incredible. And it's all because of the power of Salesforce Headless 360. But, seeing is believing. So a slide's one thing, but what I would like to do now is bring up another customer who has an extraordinary story, and a story that, much like you might not have expected the legal twist in this plot, happens in law enforcement. And with that, Tom Kempster, please come up and join us. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So, Tom, your journey is just so fascinating. It's empowering. It's just incredible. But you had a really unique set of circumstances. You wouldn't normally think about Salesforce in law enforcement, but this is a pretty good example of you had a vision and you executed that vision. Why don't you tell us a little bit about how you got started, what the challenge was, and how you came to where you came?
Sure, absolutely. I know we want to get on to the excitement of the Agentic AI and Bobby, but I think some of the context of that journey is really important. So to give you an idea of the scale, so across Thames Valley, Hampshire, and the Isle of Wight, we typically receive between 1.3, 1.4 million contacts per year. About a third of that is our 999s, 911s, Joe, which is obviously our most critical demand. And then the rest of it is what we classify on non-emergency demand. A significant percentage of that is people asking for an update, people trying to get in touch with their officer in case, people trying to essentially get to a different service or a different capability that also provides care in these elements. We were under extreme pressure when we started this. This is pre our Salesforce journey. Average wait times were about 26 minutes on our 101 service. That number's doing a really good job of hiding some really high wait times in our peak times, for example. So we knew we had to do something. And our traditional approach of peopling our way out of the situation wasn't going to work. We were looking at potentially an 11 million OPEX increase or revenue for any public sector people in the audience to do this without technology. So that's when we engaged with Salesforce. We brought in pretty much the full service stack that you had in terms of having a public portal, being able to do those automation journeys, being able to put people directly in touch with their officer in case in a sustainable way. And we saw massive benefits. I mean, all of this is largely us catching up with private industry, where they've been doing this a lot more often. But we saw, a 15% increase in our customer satisfaction rates. We saw our average wait times now reduced to, it's been at sort of 1.5 minutes at its best. It's sort of hovering around 2.5 at the minute. But there's a significant change in terms of the service that we're able to provide to the public and demonstrate that we care and that we're not keeping them waiting. Bobby, the Agentic AI layer, then came over the top of that. So, that's where we've then created an agent that is able to provide support and guidance to the public. Again, only non-emergency is what we've highlighted it for. And what we're seeing in terms of those numbers is between 70 to 75% of those contacts Bobby is handling fully autonomously. So that is about 162,000 contacts overall that we're now seeing reduced out of our contacts that are coming through to our contact center. And more critically, people are getting the advice and guidance in the way that they want and in a timely fashion as well.
Yeah, that's incredible. I mean, the concept that you can, tenfold improvement, over tenfold, almost 20-fold improvement in your average wait time is just incredible. And obviously, this is really important stuff. So I'd like to dig a little bit on, you had this problem. It was clear that agentic technology was going to be the way out of it. But why did you choose us? Why did you choose Salesforce?
So there's probably two elements to that. There's a sort of technological element, and then there's a sort of people element. I think one of the things that I think is so special around what this is doing is we could have approached this purely on the basis of contact avoidance. I mean, ultimately that's typically why you're putting in a chatbot as a capability. You want people to be able to self-serve. You want to be able to funnel your more critical demand through to your more conventional channels. I think what's probably worth calling out is, we've got our geniuses from our contact center with us today, and I highly encourage, if you're going to any of the other sessions where Thames Valley and Hampshire are presenting, please talk to Tom, Lou, Dan, Rob, because they're the ones that have been the driving force behind this. But what they correctly identified is any channel that the police open could potentially be an emergency. We can't dictate that you can only use it under these circumstances, and we would be failing them if we then only gave them a service and said, sorry, I can't help you with that, which is your more traditional chatbot approach. It was critical getting, the Salesforce people in the room who are, the experts in customer service. You guys have done this time and time and time again, but then marrying that up with, our people that understand contact, understand the nuance in terms of how you deal with people who are in distress. What's so unique about Bobby technologically is that we were able to take that expertise, take those skills, and translate it into the way that Bobby communicates with the public as well. So not just, how can I help you with your query, but the empathy, the support, ensuring that, our victims maintain their agency, which is so critical in terms of serious incidents and the types of incidents that we get through, even through this channel. We've had multiple examples of people reaching out to us when they can't get to the phone, or they can't communicate with us in any way, or they don't feel comfortable with communicating with us in any other way. And we've been able to make arrests off of the back of that contact. So it's not just about diverting contact. It is about delivering the service that the public expect. And it was a combination of what the Agentic can do with its language that we've never seen before in technology.
Well, I just would like to say, first off, thank you for coming and telling this story. Secondly, you humble us in the service that you're providing. It's just incredible. For those of us who work in technology, to be a small part of what you guys have accomplished is just absolutely incredible and humbling. So thanks so much for joining us.
Brilliant. Thank you.
All right. Appreciate the time. Thank you. So obviously, amazing story, incredible story, providing real service to the public in a way that wouldn't have been possible without agentic technology. But I suspect not everybody in this room is in law enforcement. And I don't want to talk anymore about what we've done. I want to talk about some more customers. And so we're going to get onto this. I'm going to bring up Hannah, who's going to talk about Canada Goose. Hannah?
Good morning, everybody. I am so excited to be here with you today, sharing the Canada Goose story. Now, as a global leader in performance luxury, Canada Goose sets the bar incredibly high when it comes to customer experience. But even the best brands struggle to deliver a premium experience across disconnected channels. Before Agentforce, providing that high-touch service meant that teams were jumping from system to system, trying to piece together a customer's history, all while that customer waited. So every disconnected interaction became a make-or-break moment for customer loyalty. But today, Canada Goose has transformed that experience into one continuous conversation. By automating over 89% of routine tasks, they freed up their teams to focus on what actually matters: high-value, high-touch interactions that drive revenue and deepen customer loyalty. And if that all sounds familiar, you are not alone. It's that constant struggle of trying to deliver a premium experience while being slowed down by fragmented data. So what if your teams could stop managing handoffs and instead focus entirely on the customer? Well, that's exactly what I'm going to show you today. Okay, so let's jump straight in. Now, here we are on the Canada Goose website. In the past, extending a connected customer journey across bespoke front ends required significant heavy lifting. But because Salesforce is now headless, that complexity has been stripped away, allowing Canada Goose to plug that same customer context and AI intelligence into every custom interface they build. And because that intelligence is always running in the background, it means that for me, as a Canada Goose customer, I can move from browsing the web to a live conversation without that experience ever breaking down. So that's exactly what we're going to do now. Let's go ahead and make this call.
Hi, thanks for calling Canada Goose. How can I help you today?
Hi, I'd like to return my order.
Hello, Hannah. I see your most recent purchase is the Cypress Puffer, order 18FBJE009. Is that the item you'd like to return?
Yes.
Got it. I'll go ahead and start that return for you now. I'm generating your return label as we speak. I also see you typically use WhatsApp for updates. Do you want me to send the label there?
That would be great, thank you.
Done. You should see that come through now. You can use that label to drop the item off at any carrier location. No box or printer needed. Is there anything else I can help you with today?
I'm also looking for something lightweight for summer. Do you have any recommendations?
Absolutely. For more personalized styling guidance, I'll connect you with one of our Canada Goose styler experts. Would you like me to do that now?
Sounds great, thank you.
Thank you for your interest. I'll connect you with a Canada Goose style expert now. Have a wonderful day, and feel free to reach out if you need anything else.
Amazing. So let's just take a minute to break down what we just experienced. The moment I called in, the system recognized me. No identification and no repetition. It understood exactly what I needed, confirmed the right item, chose the best channel based on my preferences, and it took action in real time, generating the return and sending the label instantly. And when I asked for styling advice, it knew exactly when to bring in a human expert. Now that's agentic service, not just answering questions, but understanding, reasoning, and acting on behalf of the customer. Now, this is absolutely critical for Canada Goose because as a premium brand, their customers expect a premium experience. And that's exactly what we've just seen Agentforce help them deliver at scale. Okay, so now let's see this from the stylist's view. And here we are in Agentforce Contact Center, the single interface that brings together customer interactions, CRM data, and AI agents, all native to the platform. And that means not bolted on and not stitched together. And you can see that the conversation that I just had is already right here, seamlessly handed off to the stylist with full context. And because this is powered by Data 360, it means that the stylist isn't just seeing the service interaction. They're seeing the full view of my customer profile. So my past orders, my preferences, and my engagement across every single touch point, all in one place. And right alongside them, Agentforce is working in real time, surfacing recommendations so that the stylist can stay entirely focused on me as the customer. Now, most AI systems can answer questions, but very few can carry this level of customer context into every interaction. Okay, so now I want you to think back to when I was interacting with this agent. The moment I asked for styling advice, it immediately escalated me to a human stylist. Now, this is where Agentforce Builder comes in. So why did the agent escalate me to a stylist? Well, it did that because Canada Goose, as a global premium leader, know that their customers expect a luxury experience. And that means that when they get in touch about high-end styling advice, they expect to be connected to a human expert. And so that's why they set this as a hard guardrail. And this is where Agentforce Script becomes so incredibly important. Agentforce Script allows you to configure that guardrail in natural language. It's hard-coded. So now every time this situation comes up, the agent behaves in the exact same way. Now, every industry has examples just like these of hard-coded, deterministic responses that they need to provide to particular questions. Just think about financial services, healthcare, or any other highly regulated industry. The wrong answer to a particular question isn't just a frustrating customer service experience. It can potentially be a significant compliance risk. And when the stakes are that high, accuracy is just a non-negotiable. So now you define that logic once, and it holds across every single interaction. And that's the Agentic Enterprise, where the business defines the experience once, and agents execute it every single time. It's human design, built and scaled with agents. Now, we've just seen how Canada Goose delivers a trusted, premium experience at scale, powered by Agentforce. And now, to share our next customer story, Adecco, please welcome to the floor Katie O'Neill.
Thank you, Hannah. I hope you all are ready to learn about Salesforce and Qualified, because we have something really exciting in store for you all today. And to do that, we're going to talk about our amazing customer, Adecco. Now, Adecco is the world's largest staffing and recruiting company, and they've partnered with Salesforce and Qualified to become an Agentic Enterprise. For some context, Adecco has a large B2B arm of their business. So their website is actually the first place employers go when they're looking to grow their workforce using Adecco's staffing services. Now, when these employers arrive on the website, they are greeted by Adecco's AI SDR agent, also known as an AI sales development rep, which is all powered by Qualified. Now, over here at Qualified, we named our agent Piper because she generates pipeline. But the amazing thing is all of our customers have personified their agents in a way that best matches their brand. So Adecco, they have used Echo on their website. Their agent's name is Echo. And the results, those are undeniable. 85% of their inbound pipeline has been sourced through Echo. And the best part is actually they're not alone. Qualified is one of the first and best agents powered by Headless 360. where Qualified works within your Salesforce. We've over 700 customers, and 100% of our customers are live in production. These include the likes of Cloudflare, Okta, Box, now Salesforce, and every single customer that buys Qualified goes live in 45 days. So if you're sitting here wondering, I don't know where to begin on my journey to becoming an Agentic Enterprise, Qualified is like your easy button. Start on the front door of your company. Start on your website. Have an agent that's there ready to greet your buyers the moment they arrive. Now, are you all excited to see a live demo of Qualified? All right, let's jump in. We're going to show Echo live on the Adecco website. And to do this, we're going to follow the journey of an inbound buyer. Her name is Maya Reyes. She is the Director of Workforce Management at Vantage Clinical Solutions, which is a Tier 1 enterprise account. So really important to qualify this buyer and get this buyer into their funnel. Now, the moment Maya arrives on the website, look at this. Echo is live on the website. She's ever present. She's always there, ready to greet Maya and engage with her. Now, the moment Maya arrived, Echo went to work immediately. She traversed all of her go-to-market systems, including Salesforce, to identify any information she has about this inbound buyer. For now, she doesn't know it's Maya, but she does know it's someone from Vantage Clinical Solutions. So again, she's going to work to get Maya into the funnel. Now, as Maya is scrolling around and browsing, as buyers do, Echo can see everything Maya can see, and she can even take Maya places around the website. So we'll jump in and we'll see that in action. Now, if Maya wants to type via text to Echo, of course she could do this. This is table stakes. But the future of agent interactions on the website, it's voice and video. So when Maya's ready, she can click to speak with Echo.
Hi, how can I help you?
Hi, Echo. We are looking to scale a team of clinical trial coordinators for a study we're launching in Q3. Now, we've used staffing firms in the past. How is Adecco uniquely different?
Let me walk you through this. Adecco stands out with 8 key advantages, like global scale, specialized talent pools, and strong compliance. What are the most important qualities you're looking for in these coordinators?
How incredible is that? Just like your very best human SDR, Piper has all this content right at her fingertips. She could actually take Maya to a different page on the website. She can show a slide live like what you're seeing here on the website. So really offering this incredible experience for any buyer that's on the website doing that research. Now, we're going to throw Echo a quick curveball. Adecco, they're a global brand. They have a large footprint in France. So let's throw Echo a quick curveball to see how she handles it. Echo, parlez-vous français?
Oui, je parle français. Je peux continuer cette conversation en français si vous le souhaitez. Qu'aimeriez-vous savoir exactement sur nos solutions de recrutement pour vos coordinateurs d'essais cliniques?
Total dream SDR behavior. Echo speaks every single language. No other human could do that. And so it's really important for Adecco as this global brand that their agent can engage in any language with those buyers around the world. Okay, so we'll jump back into that conversation with Echo. Hey, Echo, super cool. Let's stick to English for now, but can you tell me a little bit more about pricing?
Pricing is highly dependent on each customer's unique situation. We tailor pricing to your needs. Could you type your email into the chat so we can follow up with more details?
Okay, so Echo knows a question around pricing indicates high intent, especially if it's from a target account like Vantage Clinical Solutions. So she's asking for Maya's email address to further qualify her, which Maya can provide.
Feel free to go ahead and book a meeting with one of our representatives.
What did you just see? Echo took Maya's email address, she looked inside Salesforce, she found the Vantage Clinical Account Solutions account within Salesforce and saw that Sam Raskin is the enterprise account executive aligned to that account. So she presented this calendar booker right to Maya on the website. Really incredible experience for any buyer. Now, every marketer, every seller holds their breath in this moment. This is a pivotal moment. We hope this buyer books this meeting. We also all know buyers, and buyers are busy. And in fact, many might leave without converting. So what happens in the old world? In the old world, if this buyer left the website without actually converting to that meeting, this would get sent over to a human SDR and they would follow up. They might do some research. That can take time, and we risk pipeline slipping through the cracks. But not with Echo. Because Echo is in your 2 most critical channels for inbound pipeline generation, your corporate website and your email inbox, Echo is live in Maya's email address. Now, as I click into this email, what you'll notice is this is not pre-canned. This is not templated. This is entirely bespoke, referencing their key discussion points they had on the website. Echo's also serving up an additional piece of content to further pull Maya down the funnel. Now, if you think about it, what do buyers do with emails? Many buyers might respond. Naturally, Maya might have a few more questions for Echo, and that's no problem because Echo is fully multi-turn in the email inbox. So right here, we can see that Echo responded right to Maya, answering her question. And what she did, because Echo is on this mission to get Maya into Adecco's pipeline, she has provided Sam Raskin's calendar right here live within the email. So in just a few clicks, Maya can book that time. Echo can generate pipeline for the Adecco business completely autonomously. So that is a pretty cool experience. Now, you all might be sitting here wondering, okay, that was awesome, but really, how easy is this to build? And that's one of the best parts. Qualified is incredibly easy to build. So we'll jump over into the Qualified Agent Studio, where you're going to actually see where you can begin to build your own agent. So here you can see you can personify your agent. You can give your agent a different name. You can even customize the avatar. You can customize the voice. We want to make sure this is really authentic to your brand. Jumping over into guides, what you'll notice is we can give the agent some information on your company and your brand, maybe key messaging points. Now, I'm going to click into the conversation guides, and this is actually my favorite part about Qualified, and here's why. This is where the marketer is back in control. This is where the marketer defines when does the agent serve up content? When does the agent qualify this buyer? When does the agent book that meeting? And look at this. This is all natural language. There is no coding required. You don't need to call your IT team. You don't need to wait in a 2-week sprint. You can do this. It is just that simple. So what did we just see? We saw Echo engage with Maya the moment Maya arrived on the website. When she didn't convert her, she followed up in an email. and she booked that meeting and she generated pipeline. We then saw on the back end just how easy it is for you to build your own agent. So this is the future of pipeline generation. We are super excited to bring this to you all. This is generally available. We invite you to find us on the campground. You can talk to Piper. You can engage with her. So we're super excited. Now, Adecco, that is an incredible story. But I do want to shift gears a little bit. We're going to talk about our next customer, which is F1. So to tell the story, let's roll the film.
I was born in Imola, a little town close to Bologna in Italy, when there is a big track. Since I was a kid, and I was hearing almost every day the sound of and the magic of the engine going around the track, and so you become, how can I say, affected and addicted to that. And I was a kid, 14 years old, watching these people, for me, were almost untouchable. Something special, unique. I sent my CV to a lot of companies. As you can imagine, one was Ferrari, and they hired me. I remember the day, it was 1st June 1991. I said, wow, that's incredible. 23 years in that company means a lot. And I've been the CEO of Lamborghini for 5 years. 60 is my age, but it is really my life. And that is really a journey, like a sort of fil rouge that is connected my dots of my experience. And that led me to the ultimate adventure leading Formula One. And our partnership with Salesforce has helped us bring millions of fans closer to the sport, the teams, and the moments that make Formula One unforgettable. We are a sport that every year is around the world, creating 24 Super Bowl. We connect people from different cultures, from different places, to create an event that is not only sport, it's bigger than that.
Our sport has grown dramatically over the past number of years, and we now have over 830 million fans.
300 million fans on social, 4.5 billion engagements.
Our challenge wasn't that we needed to grow more fans, we just needed to talk to them in a very personal, unique way.
So with a younger audience and a much more digitally savvy audience, we are now communicating through a range of different platforms.
We wanted to bring in data so we could actually start to talk to our fan base and understand who they were. The customer service piece, the sales piece, marketing engine, the data, it all has to come together. Salesforce were the one company that had all the tools in the toolbox.
When you think big, you need to keep it simple.
So we put the use cases and the business experience and the fan experience first. So the technology we have with Salesforce really leans into that philosophy.
First is Data 360, which has been really helpful for us to really stitch together a number of the different data sources that we have, whether it's through languages, through key messages, through formats, and understand what is resonating with our fans and when they want to be contacted.
Our membership program, we use Salesforce to help personalize content to our fans. We have the Race Experience app, or we have the F1 app, which is built on Salesforce.
We created new narratives, we create the social media opening, we created the possibility for everyone to follow us.
It's very much part of the core of what we do across the race weekend.
Some of the big news from this year has been the new rules and regulations. People have questions and want to understand a little bit more about what these new rules and what these new regulations mean. The Agentforce helps fans answer any pertinent questions that they have and get back to what they want to do, which is racing.
All the technology that is around us has to be used by us to improve the way that we can work, to improve the way we can connect.
Slack does allow the team to communicate with the social team on the ground, but also the broadcast team on the ground, to understand different events that are happening and different opportunities in which to capture content, and our ability to ensure that we get that content in a place where it can quickly get posted and our fans can enjoy and respond to.
Our relationship with Salesforce is exactly that.
The start of the season is our busiest time of the year. It's impossible to staff up for that. So all of a sudden, these agents have a huge impact to that fan experience. 70 to 75% of those fans are self-serving before they even get to us. We've seen a 50% reduction in average handling times.
I always said technology is an incredible tool that has to be given to the human being to make a difference.
with Salesforce, the opportunities for us are endless.
Now, to tell the F1 story, please welcome to the floor Tom White.
Thank you, Katie. Good morning, London. My name is Tom. I'm a solutions leader, and today we are going to go on the ultimate test drive. Now, I want you to imagine you're an F1 driver. You're pulling into the pits, engines roaring, but time is ticking away. You need to get out of there fast. And as you pull into your team's garage expecting the full complement of the pit crew, there's one person. Can you imagine? Now, compare that to the reality of F1. You pull in, 18 specialists, sub 3 seconds, done. That's the difference between how some marketing teams work today and what we'll show you next. So we're going to have a look at how F1 can expand their reach and pull in even more racing fanatics. Now, that's exactly what Agentforce marketing is built to do. Instead of briefing a team, waiting 3 months, now we can simply point our agents to our outcomes, and they're going to handle all the hundreds of little details we used to do by hand. And the best bit? After we launch our campaigns, the agents are always watching. So they're going to be there, ready to double down on what's landing whilst the campaigns are active. So with our 2 brand new agents, our marketing goals agent and our marketing content agent, humans stay focused on ideas, agents handle the details. Awesome. Okay, I'm going to take you through a visionary demo next. We're going to have a look at how the F1 marketing team could build autonomous campaigns. Now, the thing you need to know about this team, they are small, they are lean, and they are trying to reach nearly 1 billion fans. But with humans and agents working together, they're going to punch well above their weight. So let's dive in. Okay, so here we are in Slack. Now, for most marketing teams, things normally start with some sort of campaign plan. So for F1, this brings together the race calendar, target audience, latest branding. And that's great. In fact, this is going to be brilliant context for the content agent. We'll come back to this. But I'm sure you'd all agree. Quarterly plans don't age well, do they? Especially in a business like F1. They have 24 races a year. Sometimes there's only a 2-week turnaround in between. And just like a driver on race day, sometimes plans change. And that's what's happening here. Pete, one of the campaign leads, has entered the chat. Now, what does Pete want? Pete wants us to take a lead on spinning up a new campaign for the British Grand Prix. When does he want it? When else? Yesterday. We need this ASAP. And look, we've got this requirement to increase the number of subscribers to F1 TV. Well, thank you very much, Pete. Now I'm freaking out. Thinking about all the briefings I need to do, the tickets I need to raise. How are we going to get this done on time with our new marketing goals agent, of course. Now, I want to call out, we're going to show this experience today in Slack. Thanks to our headless architecture, we can surface the same experience in Slack, in Teams, even in Claude. The data underneath is all the same. Okay, so to kick things off, our marketer app mentions the agent in Slack. Now, what I love about this is the agent's already grounded in F1 strategy. So that's 26 million unified fan profiles in Data 360 and the rich campaign history that F1 has built over time. So given all of this context, we really don't need to give the agent all that much. Just 3 things. Number 1, the goal. We want to increase the number of subscribers to F1 TV. 2, the audience, which is going to be light and lapsed digital viewers in Europe and South America. And 3, the budget. That's it. That's the brief. All right, so let's put the agent to work. Now look at this. Interesting. The agent's come back and said, hey, how about we include Australia? We can see this lovely visualization we've got going on up here. This is Tableau embedded directly in Slack. That last year's British Grand Prix, Australia had 3 times the baseline viewing figures. 3 times. Well, yes. We definitely want to include this. Now, this is the sort of detail that so easily gets missed. It's the advantage of having an agent working alongside us. I don't have time to look over all of that data, but the agent does. It's looked across the data, and it's spotted where the demand actually exists. This is a huge shift for marketers. Okay, so let's see what the agent comes back with now. Okay, well, forecasting can be hard. The agent's recommending we target a 10% uplift in the number of subscribers. Now, this recommendation is grounded in context. The agent knows the performance of previous campaigns. We've got this expanded audience. We've added Australia. It's recommending a bit of a stretch, so let's go for it. Right, we are now ready to race. Thank you very much. So what's happening here? The agent's going to data 360. It's pulling in the audience. It's building the journey based on what's worked in previous campaigns, and it's configuring channels based on where fans actually are. The key point, this is critical, every step is grounded in F1's data. Okay, so now we've got our campaign drafted, no more handoffs, no more briefings. The human set the goal, and the agent started building. So let's get the campaign into our channel. This is now the team's single source of truth, but our campaign needs content. So let's tag in our creative team. So here's Pete, one of the creative leads. He's tagged in Hannah. Hannah is now on point for creating the content for our campaign. And look, we've got this asked to make sure we include some discount codes for anyone who experienced streaming issues at last weekend's race. Okay, content team tagged in. Let's go. Okay, now this is the brand new interface for our content agent. Look at it, absolutely lovely. We're going to start by giving the content agent a really simple prompt. We're just going to say, generate the content for the British Grand Prix campaign we're working on. So what the agent's doing here is it's going and pulling all of that rich context from the campaign planning document we saw at the start, remember that one? And the brand new campaign plan we just created with the marketing goals agent. Now, it's hard to explain how much of a shift this is. It's actually really tricky to demo because it all happens so fast, it can seem like magic. In the past, this would have been a lot of manual plumbing. Think dragging and dropping text between SMS and emails, resizing images, all the really fun stuff. Now the content agent handles all of that detail for us, and look at it, it's beautiful. Okay, so content's looking good, but remember we had that ask to add some discount codes for anybody who experienced streaming issues. Sound simple? And honestly, it's a fair question. Can't we just knock that up in ChatGPT? Well, actually, the prompt's the easy bit. It's what's underneath that makes it possible. Let's just think about what the agent had to do here. It had to go to our customer data platform, and it had to figure out who signed up, who's had streaming issues, maybe they've contacted support, raised a ticket, who's lapsed, and who's in our target audience. That's 4 signals cross-referenced in one prompt. This is the power of building with full context. Okay, so our campaign's looking good. We are nearly ready to send it, but before we do, remember, humans always stay in control. So let me quickly show you what that looks like. Firstly, channels. This is a key difference with Salesforce. Our channels are configurable, not hardwired. So let's go ahead and turn on WhatsApp. We know that's really popular with our British F1 fans. Secondly, guardrails. We're going to stay in control, so let's set some thresholds. Say if click-through rates drop below 3%, we'll pause the campaign and get that reviewed. And finally, after we launch this campaign, the agents will be watching. They can fine-tune, they can optimize, but we get to decide where. So audience, yep, I'm good with that. Content, fine, we can optimize there. Channels, actually, budgets are involved there, so I think no, that stays with us. We'll turn that off, please. Okay, campaign's ready. Let's activate. Very good. Full production budget deployed there. So now our campaign's active. We can monitor this in Slack. As you heard from Joe earlier, now in Coworker, and thanks to our headless architecture, later this year, even in Teams. And that is how that small, lean team can reach an audience of nearly 1 billion with humans and agents working together. Right, I'd now like to welcome Zara back to the stage, but you're going to help me out. We're going to have a massive round of applause.
Well done, Tom. Do you like my jacket? It's not bad, eh? Not bad. I was very excited to be able to wear this again as we're talking about Formula One. That stat, 831 million fans. Oh my, how many of them are in here? Yes, yes. Well, we love Formula One. And just to put that stat into context, that's 10% of the world's population. Doesn't that just blow your mind? 10% of the world's population. So, let's meet the man, shall we, that we saw on video, that is the vision, the engine, the power behind Formula One. Please give a very, very warm welcome to Stefano Domenicali.
Thank you. Thank you, Zara.
Thank you. Thank you so much for doing this.
Well, thank you to you, and amazing and very inspirational for me and my team that is here, which I really want to thank you, because alone you can do anything. But really, if I may say something, I thought that F1 was a quick and always on the move sport. But what you're doing in this hour is impressive. You need to digest a lot of information, and it's something that is very inspiring. So thank you.
Well, you know, it takes visionary leaders like yourselves to actually bring this to life too, and it's a wonderful partnership. What we really appreciate is how you bring the intimacy of Formula One to so many people that don't actually make it to the track. And, you know, you've been visionary about what you wanted to achieve with Formula One. We've got Agentforce and, you know, much of our stack embedded. Tell us a bit about that journey and what that's really meant to you.
Well, the journey starts, as always, from human relationships.
Yes.
So I knew very well Mark, and we said, well, you always think big, and we have to think big. So we started that journey a couple of years ago. It seems 40, but it's only 4. And in this period, I think we're focusing our job in the dimension that we want to grow. Basically, the awareness of who we are, understanding our customers, making sure that we connect with them. And because they are of different situation, different culture, different, form of engagement, we needed and so diverse, we need your expertise to get into that. And then on top of that, we said, listen, we are a quite complicated sport, and we need a lot of agents to make sure that we are able to be, in our lean organization, to be effective. So that is an incredible journey that has taken us to increase the number of fans and making sure that we also create business through that.
Well, and business we will create, and you're right in the middle of the season right now. As you think about the future of sport, and you're changing it, you're changing the face of sport, as you think about that, why are we Salesforce the right partner to help you achieve this?
Well, first of all, because the sport is moving in a bit bigger ecosystem of entertainment, relationships, and Salesforce is the right technology with the right people and with the right energy to make sure that we connect all together. And you can find a different angle of what you want to do through what you're doing. It's just very, very inspirational. And I think that the way that also you present it, talking about technology by keeping the human being at the center, it's really the key of your success.
For sure. Humans and agents together, which is absolutely brilliant. Now, we've got a surprise for everybody, haven't we, Stefano? We have a very, very exciting thing. We thought we would bring the experience of Silverstone to a very lucky winner in this crowd. Now, one lucky person in this room has got a golden ticket under their seat, thanks to Stefano. And that's 2 tickets to Grand Prix at Silverstone.
Away, I'm sorry.
So whoever's got it, jump up. Who's got it? Who's got it? Who's got it? Anyone found it yet? Jump up if you've got it. Jump up, jump up, jump up. Who's got it? Ah! Congratulations, sir. You will be going to Silverstone. You will be going to Silverstone.
Come here, don't be shy.
There you go. Come and meet the man himself.
Can I do a little bit of CRM, direct CRM with you?
What are you going to sell him?
Hello.
Hi. I've no idea what's going to happen now.
What's your name?
Jonathan.
Do you follow us? Go on. I'm joking. Actually, we live in a competition world. And our duty is to connect more people that do not know us, because we want to engage with them.
So we hit the right person then.
So you're going to be our new agent. So I think Jonathan...
Amazing.
Special agent for us.
We were going to get you, download the app, get converted.
Come on.
Thanks to Stefano.
We'll follow you.
Thank you. Stefano, thank you. You're amazing.
Thank you very much.
So much fun. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for your partnership. Okay, we're on our final lap, folks. We're on our final lap. And look, we've had so much trailblazing this morning, but it doesn't end there. You know, just remember, we are powering some of the UK's biggest industries with incredible customers like Vodafone, like Formula One, like AstraZeneca, like Simply Health. And hopefully you'll get to hear and explore some of these customer stories even further today. Now, you've listened to some great content today, and you might be thinking, how do I get the value from this? How do I get started? Well, we have got your back. We are ready with forward-deployed engineers. We're ready with service professionals. We're ready with flexible license agreements so that you can scale Agentforce and Data Cloud unlimited across your whole organization. So we are here for you, and we want you to get that value quickly. So what remains now is for you to get to the campground, get your hands on the Agentforce, go and immerse yourself, go and interact with Piper, download the app to make sure that you maximize your experiences. And don't forget to come back here this afternoon for our Luminary discussion at 4:30 with none other than Michael McIntyre. And with that, a very heartfelt thanks to you all. You are the best. We love you. Thank you so much. And don't forget to give us your feedback with the QR code on the screen. Thank you very much, everyone.